Welcome again to Computer Programming in C++. Today we're going to try to delve into the realm of object-oriented programming. So far, up to this point, you've been doing procedural programming. Procedural programming, I'm at heart a procedural programmer, so I'm not going to rip on it. I rather like it. But in a procedural program, you're thinking about how the computer is going to work. You start at the top, the computer is going to work step by step, work its way till it gets to the bottom, and then finish the program. Always from the top to the bottom. These work well, especially for small programs. But eventually, your programs get bigger, and they're harder to do all in one line, or you're working with other people and you need to do part of the program and other people are doing other parts. There are other ways to think about this. Thus, we have object-oriented programming. There, I'll write even. Object-oriented programming. Now, object-oriented programming, you're getting little tastes of this every time you use a structure or a function. And what happens when you use a structure is you created a special data type that you can use over and over again, and every data type may contain multiple other data types. With a function, you created a mini program that could accomplish a task, and then you could call upon that mini program and use it over and over again. Objects are like both of those combined. So I'm not going to write a program this time like I normally do. I want to look at the general idea. So here's the idea. Let's think about an object we know something about. The object would be a dog. And dogs have certain characteristics. When you hear the word dog, you probably have certain things that come to mind. I'm going to say a dog has a name. He usually has a breed, although it could definitely be a mixed breed like our dog. Poodle and beagle mix. Maybe it has a color. It has various characteristics. I could keep going. But when I say dog, these things might be what comes to mind. But you know what I mean when I say dog. Automatically has certain characteristics. Dog also has certain abilities. I'll just put a couple in here. A dog may know how to fetch. It may know how to speak. Bark, bark. It might have a few others, but those will work. This is to keep the analogy to programming going. We have characteristics, name, breed, and color. Those are like individual variables within a data type. We also have fetch or speak. Those are like functions, things that this dog can do. The dog has both of these types of things. And I could add more, but this will work. What we do in object-oriented programming is we really think of the program in two parts. One part is, what are the objects? We create the objects dog. For example, the other part is the program itself. What do we want the program to do? The part two is more procedural again. We're not getting rid of procedural programming. A lot of times people will think of these as one or the other. I think of them as combined. But in our procedure, we may actually create a dog. We'd say there's a dog, and let's call it Rover. And then we already know Rover will have a name, a breed, a color. It will be able to fetch and speak. So then later on in the program, if my program actually referred to dogs, I could tell Rover, Rover fetch, and Rover would do it. I could tell Rover, Rover speak, and Rover would bark at me. I do not need to know how Rover does these things in order to ask Rover to do it. The procedure part, part 2, can really be done independently of the object part. And this is where multiple programmers working on a project really can work together. One creates the objects, the other tells the objects what to do. And then, nice thing about object-oriented programming, later on, I can create another dog, Fido. And Fido will have the same characteristics, although could change the values within the variables, but same type of characteristics and the same abilities automatically. We don't need to type in those abilities every time we're going to want to use them later on. Another benefit of this style of programming is typically when you program like this, you store the object in a separate file. Why is that good? Because then you can use that file in multiple programs. So object-oriented program allows you to create objects that have characteristics and abilities, and then use the objects later on within the main function of another program. That's over here. Possibly many programs.